how are we really growing and helping all those around us if we're not sharing, if we're not giving other people the opportunity to get to where we are.
I'm an optimist because I know that God put me on this planet to do something,
Right.
and to do it well. And so I like to find the good in everything that I'm doing. I feel like we've spent a lot of our time like working for other people, kind of like supporting what they do, encouraging, basically supporting, like through media. We do a lot of supporting other people's dreams and visions and goals. And I think sometimes, I will say this, there are good and bad sides to that. And I think we can get into like the good and the bad part, but maybe we should just talk about like our experiences about helping other people and like kind of how that came about.
I mean, I feel like just watching parents growing up, like that was, I know in both of our houses, our parents were kind of the same, very involved at church, very involved with like people around in the neighborhood and your community. Like our house was the house where everybody came to when they needed assistance. If it was food, if they needed a place to sleep.
And that's real. Helping people is probably in our DNA.
It is. And I don't know, obviously you become what you see a lot of times. And so I feel like, for me, watching my parents give all of the time to anybody who came around, that's something that, like, it was a good thing, but there were also times where probably should have said no. And I think it's good to teach our kids to help as much as you can, but the part we don't put enough emphasis on is the as much as you can.
Yeah.
Like
within reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead, we think as much as we can is everything that we have.
Right.
And that's not true, because if you're not taking care of yourself first, you really can't adequately help anybody else.
Yeah, it's very true. Watching our families help as much as they could in different areas, whether it was, family, friends, business, ministry, like seeing them help in different ways, definitely added a level of compassion to our lives.
Yeah.
For people, like a heart for people to our lives. Because, I know my mom and dad, they did things out of the phrases out of the kindness of their heart, but it was genuinely that. Just seeing them, love on people, have conversations longer than they should, because we might be at the church, tired and ready to go home, hungry.
We have school in the morning.
All of those things, but they went out of their way to help people. And again, that is a great attribute to have.
Just with boundaries.
With boundaries and within reason. And so, again, this is by any means bashing parents.
No.
Because like I'm saying, we learned really good human attributes from our parents. Compassion, going out of your way for people, going above and beyond. Like those are things that really, really go a long way into adding who you are. The layers of who you are.
Yeah, but I think even now, if we asked any of our parents, they would say, yeah, but do things within reason. Because I know, my folks tell me all the time, like, it's great to do all of these things for everybody. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Like, sometimes you do too much.
Very true.
And so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. When did you start to help and like be a part of helping other people and jumping in and like, pull your weight, I guess?
Honestly, I probably was like 11. maybe even earlier than that. But I was really, really little or young. And I think it was more so circumstantial. Like at that time, my dad had just had a stroke. My mom was pregnant. We had lost our house. Like there was a lot of things going on. And so it was just kind of like this, like you need to jump in and you need to do, because there are needs and you can fulfill these needs even at a young age. So I tried to make dinner. I wasn't always successful at it, but like just doing things around the house to try to help. And then, you know, as I got older, that just kind of filtered into other spaces in my life.
And I just want to really quickly stop before we go too far. This is not just about family stuff. These are attributes that like we look for when we hire people to work with us. When, you know, anyone is going out for a job, you know, you're looking for how well do you work with others? How caring and compassionate are you going to be when it comes to, you know, working with clients, with working with the team, with coming up with different ideas, figuring out how to, you know, pitch in and like just show initiative with different jobs, with different, you know, projects. And so this is not just a family thing, but it does start there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was saying. Like from that point, it filtered out into my work ethic and being with friends.
Oh yeah.
The idea of starting a business came because I wanted to help other people.
And what is your reputation with your friends?
I'm the helper. I will show up at 2:00 in the morning if you call me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not a bad, again,
it's not
a bad
like,
thing.
Thankfully, I don't have friends who take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I managed to surround myself with people who are similar. If I needed them at 2:00 in the morning, I know I could call them and they would show up. Ready to do whatever I needed.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm really grateful. I do know that there are most people who are helpers tend to get the short end of the stick most times because they're being taken advantage of. You attract people who need help all the time.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have that same reputation, I guess, with my friends and family.
Yeah.
And again, it's a good thing, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's going, you know, you're the person that 2:00 in the morning, you're driving somebody, picking somebody up, you know, bailing somebody out, you know, different things.
Not out of jail, but like
out of a situation. Maybe out of jail. I don't know. Maybe.
We have never had to bail anybody out of jail.
I never have. But maybe somebody listening, maybe they might.
Okay.
And hey, shout out to the people out there who have bailed people out of jail. Some of those things I've stopped doing.
Yeah.
And then in some of my circles now, I have the reputation of, oh, Tom's not gonna help. He's not gonna help. He probably won't answer the phone. I'm trying to find that balance, you know.
Yeah.
So, man, for me, when did I first start learning to pull my own weight? Honestly, it was probably around the same age.
Yeah.
You know, we had a lemonade stand when I was like 8, 9 years old. We did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all the little, you know, kid friendly, you know, entrepreneurial kid things. We did all of that stuff.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about like my brother and I when we did our entrepreneurship. I don't really feel like it was kid mentality. Like I had a coat.
Oh my gosh.
I had a coat and I had like stickers and like gumballs and things stuck inside of my coat.
Of course.
And so at school.
Wait, the long trench coat?
I didn't have a trench coat,
Okay.
but it was like, you know, a regular kid coat.
Okay. Right.
But we were pedaling to the kids' school. until we got found out, and then they told us we couldn't
no.
sell on school grounds, so we would just wait till school was over and like just be a foot off school property.
Wow.
Stickers. I got stickers. I got gumballs. We had those.
I mean, and clearly there was a demand.
It was. We were making a killing. Oh my goodness. I was bringing home like $25 a day.
Okay.
As a 9-year-old.
Okay.
In 3rd grade. I'm making $100 a week.
Oh my God. All right, that's what I was gonna say. You end the month with like a nice $400 or $500 in your pocket.
Oh yeah. And we would go, my mom had these catalogs that you could order, like these really cheap little things. So we buy a bunch of those, spend $10.
So she was the the culprit.
She didn't know what we were doing.
Why did she give you the book?
I don't know. Parents, pay attention to your kid.
Yes, please do.
I had we had a whole little underground store happening. Then we got to the point where we started taking orders, like what you want.
Okay.
Making a list. Then we go home and search through our catalogs. All right, you want baseball cards? Who do you want to have? You want basketball? I got a limited edition Michael Jordan. How much you gonna pay for it?
Wow. That is entrepreneurial genius. That's pretty great.
We were so I was 8, he was 12.
Okay.
And we were making good money.
I'm sure you were. We were, like I said, we were doing our lemonade stand and cutting grass and delivering papers.
That's cute.
Like all the little cute suburban kids.
It's nice.
Yeah. So I was right on the edge of that. I think my brother's age, he's only 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
They didn't really do that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure we were on the edge of that. But anyway, so I learned to go out and like cut grass and like I didn't have a summer where I was just sitting.
Yeah.
You know, I think I tried that like when I was in junior high or something, and my mom was like, "Nah, it's not happening. Like you got to get up and go do something." You know, my dad was cool. He was kind of like, "No, I mean, you know, just let them learn, just have fun. It's summertime." But I think the drive in my mom, like she just wanted us to learn those types of things and those types of skills. Yeah. And so, you know, I was out helping people, you know, cut grass and do landscaping and, you know, one summer in high school, like I started working for a guy who was building his house. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm learning plumbing and carpentry and we were building cabinets. We were doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And so I got to see different sides. Most of my year was like creative. Yeah. You know, it was going to school, playing music, you know, being a part of my mom's choir, you know, things like that, traveling with them. But then that once I started learning that skill, like, you know, outside of sports, you know, this is me using my hands. And it was actually really cool to be a part of it. I learned to keep going, you know, when it's hard, when you're tired, when it's you know, just to keep working. And like it built a lot of character in me to learn the skill of, you know, carpentry and plumbing and, you know, the electrician. No, we didn't do a whole lot of electricity stuff, electrician work, but those things were really, really useful for me. So the other part though, once I got to, you know, probably 8th grade, that's when my mom started taking me to different places and, you know, she would sing, she had a pianist and I would play drums. And so I became a professional musician, probably like at the age of like 12 or 13 years old. And I think that was kind of the beginning of seeing like, oh, okay, so there's outside of, you know, because my mom would leave work and then go do that. Right. And so, you know, she would sing for like different corporations who were bringing in inspirational speakers or singers or, you know, anything like that. And so to see that you can leave work and go do more work. And I was like, oh man, this is really great. But I think that's kind of one of the things that helped me like figure out, oh, okay, I can multitask is what I always called it. Like I would, I can play drums and I do video and I can do all these things. And all of them, again, are extremely useful to what we do today.
Right.
The majority of our income comes from me being creative and like us being creative,
right,
and also using our skills in different ways, leading people and building teams and, stuff like that. And so, so again, that's, to me, those are like kind of the good side.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to the good side, because I think there's more.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just want to talk about, kind of, when it turns into detriment, the going above and beyond.
I mean, for starters, when you're not getting sleep.
Yeah.
When you are skipping meals to help other people, you're not taking care of yourself. If you're not giving yourself the time or space to work out or do things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Like, you've gone too far.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely hard to take care of yourself when you're taking care of everybody else.
Right. And then you end up run down and everybody else is out here living their best life. Like, oh man, that is so sad. Tom and Stephanie, they just over there, just broke, busted down. It's y'all's fault.
There have been tons of events where they're like, oh man, I'm tired, but we sure needed that sleep last night. So you guys ready to go again? And we're like, what sleep?
Exactly.
When did y'all sleep?
We were up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that you had everything for this event.
Exactly.
So miss me with that, please.
It's like, when did we get to sleep?
But that's our fault.
It is. Absolutely.
That is absolutely on us, because those people that got sleep was, I'm looking at the clock. Time's up. I'm done. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
But us, it's like, but there's just one more thing.
Yeah.
Instead of, well, we passed our time. It didn't get done, so it's not going to get done.
Right.
And that is, whew,
yeah, it's not good.
we need to be delivered all the way. We're better.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten better.
Much better. But it's that perfectionism in us.
Yeah.
That drives us, that pushes us to keep going when we should really just stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, it's kind of like a perfectionism to the sense that my name is on this. We have a lot of creative ideas going on in our heads, the way we see it working out, whether, again, it's a project or it's an event or whatever, like we see it in our minds much, much bigger than probably the budget is.
Absolutely. Every single time. And so for us, it's like, okay, there's no budget. There's very little personnel. I got to do all the jobs. There's 10 jobs and 5 people. I got to be a fifth. But not just all the jobs.
Yeah.
Like, I got to do all the jobs while I'm hanging upside down like a trapeze artist and doing cartwheels and flips through the air like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
And smile the whole time.
And entertaining the kids.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody's
too much.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That is not good time management. And that is not actually helpful to anybody. Because in a lot of those situations, there are things that either didn't need to happen or things that someone else could have done.
Yes.
And us doing them for those people is enabling them to stay where they are and not allowing them to grow.
Yeah. And I will even say this. My mentality of like getting other people to do the work is like, well, we don't have the budget for that.
Yeah.
We don't have the, it's not in the budget anywhere. So how can I hire someone to do it? But the truth is, planning helps. And then people are more, when you're like well put together, you're well planned out, well thought out. They already know if you do good work, you're going to have a good reputation as it is. Most people are going to want to be a part of what you're doing.
Exactly. You just have to ask.
You have to ask.
We're not good at that.
Right.
We're not good at asking for help.
Yeah.
We're really great at giving help. We're not very good at asking for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's probably a pride issue. Because we're so used to being the super people who do it all.
Sure. I mean, maybe pride is a part of it, but then also wanting to honor other people's time and, like, I think that you're valuable, so I want to give you money for doing this particular project. So, I mean, sure, maybe it's pride, and I'm okay with owning the fact that I need to get better at that.
Yeah.
But I definitely, like, for all of the people who are multitasking and like
multi-talented,
doing all of the jobs, please just calm down, slow down. Think about who around you can help you and get them to help, get them on board.
Especially if someone has offered help.
Yeah.
Like, I want to help. I would love to help. How can I get involved? Let them.
Man, so many times.
It's not going to look like what you would do because they're not you.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah. So many times we had people who like reached out like, hey, we want to be a part of it. We want to help. We want to,
give us something to do. What do you guys need done?
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah.
And we're like, nah.
We don't have the budget.
We don't have the budget.
And so we didn't even think about it.
But then our internal conversations are, well, we have a certain look. We have a certain style.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we keep up this, really this facade of who we are, because we operate at a very high level and we want everybody else who comes along, you need to operate up here too.
Right.
Instead of, again, allowing people the space to grow to that. Because, in the end, like, how are we really growing and helping all those around us if we're not sharing, if we're not giving other people the opportunity to get to where we are?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. That hits home because someone had to move out of the way for us to get there.
Exactly.
Somebody had to like bring us along, and no, we weren't up to par. We weren't up to, the standard, but we had to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely something, as we've gotten older, we're not old, but as we've gotten older, it has been a lesson that we've learned is that, we only have 2 hands and 2 feet, and we can only do but so much work in 24 hours of a day.
Yeah.
And so bringing on a team of people, a couple of people who can intern, a couple of people who are interested in learning and, maybe they have the drive. And that's something that we look for. We look for that, people who take initiative, people who are creative, people who are gonna, like carve, I won't say carve their own lane, but kind of make space, like, hey, I want to be a part of this. People who have that type of heart for helping is who we're looking for. And
people we can pour into, because that's a part of our legacy.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. It'll be really great to have everybody, Tom and Stephanie, they were so great and they did this and they did that. But then where's our fruit,
Yeah. And the fruit is, again, just people being, jumping in and I guess the byproduct of us helping other people is the fruit.
Yeah.
Because we can have, we can both have 10,000 projects that we've worked on a piece. But if the people aren't there to talk about the legacy, to show and, duplicate what we've accomplished and in like the relationships and, the processes and, things, if
the style.
The style. If the people aren't there to like talk about those things, then it's unfortunately it's kind of
it's a loss,
a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So I will say this, on the detriment side of helping people too much, I think about this. So my godfather, he is one of the guys, like back when I was a kid, he would have a video camera at every event. He would have he was the guy they called, at church, they called the tape ministry. So like, he would record all of the services. He would record. He was on the radio. Him and his wife. They had a show where they would just kind of they would do all the production. They would do even I think like the anchoring and just do the interviews and things like that on the radio. And so he even built a studio in his basement.
Yeah.
And we've been there.
Yeah.
Built the studio in his basement, has like recorded tons of artists over the years. And unfortunately, he told me, he said, look, you don't want to get to my age and regret not ever having recorded your own music.
Yeah.
He was a singer.
Yeah.
So recording your own music, putting out your own show or podcast or whatever it is. And so he's kind of, for me, he's one of the big inspirations in my life to why we are doing the podcast today.
Yeah.
So thinking about those conversations with him, like you don't want to be bitter.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, frustrated with yourself at an old age.
Yeah.
And just like, man, I can't get that time back.
Yeah.
And then now he's bitter at the people that he helped.
Right.
He's bitter at himself for like, man, I put myself second. Everybody else was first.
Right.
So that's an unfortunate detriment. Like, I know that we can go all in when it comes to helping other people. We'll get behind their vision.
Yeah.
We'll get behind their goal and we'll be all in. And I don't think that's wrong, but I think when you put your stuff aside, you put yourself aside and, you don't create that legacy for yourself, then it's really tough to, I think that becomes detriment.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like you said, there is a bitterness afterwards. I think about all the projects where we went way above, way beyond what the client asked for. And then at the end, they didn't use all the extra stuff that we gave them.
That is the worst.
And then it's
that is the absolute worst.
I spent all this time. I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning. You gonna use this video.
Right.
But it's too late.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't ask for it,
Yeah.
And now here we are, sad, disgruntled, upset.
Yeah.
And it's our own fault.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so any more downsides to really pouring into people that you can think of, like overextending yourself for people?
I mean, on the, like, all of that other stuff, but it also can affect you health-wise. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not getting proper sleep, your health can start to decline.
Right.
Now you're probably eating garbage because that's the only things that are open late at night because you're not able to have a healthy meal at decent hours, or you're eating super late at night and then going to sleep on that food. Like, now you're gaining weight and all these different things. Like, I remember we went through a season where it was during COVID. Yeah. When everybody needed help.
Oh yeah.
And we were right there doing all of, how you need your service online. We will get your service online. Yeah. What time are you going to send us this stuff? 10 o'clock p.m. on a Saturday before it needs to go live? Yes, we can do that for you.
And we did.
We were not sleeping.
No.
We were eating at like 11, midnight.
Making lots of money.
Yeah. But it wasn't worth it because I gained like 25 pounds during COVID. It was horrible.
Yeah, well, I will say this. The health thing is a much bigger issue than people think it is.
Absolutely.
Like, for me, I didn't realize that overextending myself for other people could cause stress. Yeah. To the point to where it's like, oh, I need to go to the doctor. Right. Like, I never thought that. Never saw it coming. And again, we can talk about that later. But take care of yourself, people. Yeah. Please take care of yourself. Don't let other people be the reason that you find yourself into like an early grave or, just living a less than ideal quality of life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would also say that the physical aspect, the mental stress,
Yeah.
the strain on your relationships, because I mean, you already know there was tons of events, tons of family things that I missed.
And I would be so mad.
I would too.
Here I am again at another event by myself, and now everybody's, where's Tom? Y'all all right?
Y'all doing good? Y'all still together? No, nobody has asked that. I don't think.
Yes, they did.
They did?
Absolutely.
Are you serious?
Y'all all right? I got that a lot.
Oh my God.
Like, yes, we are.
Wow.
And then there was a point where, after kids, you would be gone so much, and then there were times where you had to stay overnight at a hotel, and the kids were telling people, my dad lives at the hotel. he does not.
No.
Actually. Daddy does not live at a hotel. Stop telling people that.
No, but I was working an hour away.
Yeah.
And if we're rehearsing or whatever until 11 p.m.
No, it makes
and it got to be back at 6 a.m.
sense.
That's why I was there.
It's just, it was.
I just got to let them know why I was at a hotel in the same state that my family lives in.
It was very far travel for you. Very early hours. It made the most sense to not have you driving like that.
Yes.
Sleep.
Yes.
But it was still, on my side, it was difficult.
Yeah.
Because you were doing so many things. And I think I'm about to air my frustrations.
Oh.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
So in terms of like helping, like because you are a person who helps so much and wants to help so much, there were a lot of times where it was like, well, this could turn into something really good for our family,
right.
But this is really just you helping somebody.
Yeah.
And so I would, as a wife watching, like you're pouring all of this into something that I know is not going to yield a return.
Right.
And is keeping you away from your family. Like that was that season. And it was a while that
you thought I was wasting my time?
Yes. Very much so.
Okay.
And only because there were certain friends that we would help.
Sure.
And we know these people, they're talking a real good talk. I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. No, you're not. Let's be real. This is free. This is free. And I'm going to be mad afterwards.
We got the experience.
I didn't want that. I wanted you home.
I wanted to be home too. I wanted to be home. And again, I just thank God that we've gotten to a place to where like that is more than not under control.
Absolutely.
It's way more under control than not. And I'm just thankful that we've kind of got a chance to wake up to, how do we help each other? How do we help our family? How do we, put each other first. So in our family first so that, we can give out more.
Yeah.
Honestly, when we take that time for ourselves, then we're able to like give out more. We're more productive. We are, more creative even.
So I would say it's not necessarily giving out more, but it's giving more in a healthy way.
Sure.
Or
I agree.
Giving more healthily.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that a word? Healthily?
Healthily? Yeah. Healthily is a word.
After I said it, I wasn't really sure.
It's a word.
It didn't hit the way I thought.
It didn't sound wrong to me.
Okay. Well, run that back. Giving in a more healthily way. No?
No, I think it's giving healthily.
All right, run that back. Giving healthily.
Yes. I think the other part about it is the fact that we figured out, let's focus on ourselves. And our relationship is much better.
Yeah. We nice to each other now.
We are very nice to each other.
We were not nice to each other.
I'm not about to sit here and say we weren't nice to each other. But there were
now, Tom.
Really?
There was a season
Sure. I mean, everybody goes through
Yes.
everybody goes through times when you're like you're friends and you're not friends.
We was not friends for a long time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We've been married for 13 years.
Yes.
And when you say a long time,
It
gives a really bad impression.
It was a couple of years. We were not friends.
That gives a really bad impression of our marriage.
How?
When you say we weren't friends for a long time,
yes,
then we might as well not be married at that point.
That's not true. We went through a season of learning, and during that season, we were not close. We were not communicating well. We were not friends.
I'll say this. I don't feel like that.
Because you were out there living your best life in the, not in the streets, but out there.
I don't feel like we
traveling the world. Just happy.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm sorry that you feel like we were not friends for a really long time.
I didn't say a really long time.
Okay. But I'm sorry that you feel like we weren't friends for a long time. I didn't have that feeling. Maybe I was just living in a different world or something.
It's okay though. We're really good now.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I like you.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. I'm glad we can talk about it, because there's a lot of people who go through hard times and can't talk about it.
Yeah.
They split up. They're not together anymore. They smile when they're out and fight when they're together.
And don't talk to each other at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad we figured it out. I'm glad we got through it. Seriously.
For real.
And that is another thing. I don't know if we'll really go through that type of show, but maybe we'll do an episode. Yeah. Just talk about making it through the hard times of marriage.
I think so. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it might help some people. I know if we had people who were able to pour into us during those times, I think it would have been, other than our parents, I think it would have been, super helpful. So
absolutely.
Okay. So this is what I was going to say though. We talked about the good parts of what we learned of like overextending, helping other people. We talked about the downside of helping people, to our detriment, what that does physically, what it does to our relationships. Yeah. And then even what it does to, I talked about my godfather, my mentor, and so we talked about those 3 or 4 aspects. I think the other one I want to talk about though is on the positive side, because you already know me. I am a optimist to the max. Yes. As much as I can.
That's why you didn't know we wasn't friends.
Okay, that's probably it. That is, so for me, I'm an optimist because I know that God put me on this planet to do something. Right. And to do it well. And so I like to find the good in everything that I'm doing. So I would like to talk about the good part about pouring into other people. So let me see. I'll start it and then we'll see where this goes.
I don't have any good things yet.
Okay. I'll say the good part is being able to help other people accomplish their dreams. To number one, realize their dreams. Yeah. And give flesh to the vision, starting to flesh out the vision, the goals that they have, because a lot of times we're the people who kind of pull out those visions in people. We're they'll have an idea, and then we are the people who kind of help them bring it to fruition, actualize what is that they're thinking about or they have in their minds. I think for us, that's something that it's probably one of the reasons that keeps us doing what we do. Yeah. Is because, we're hey, the feeling of helping someone accomplish their dreams, realize their dreams, is very fulfilling. And honestly, a lot of times I'm like, man, I wish we had somebody do this for us. Because we'll be in brainstorming meetings.
But we do. We just don't ask.
I mean, we have each other.
No.
Who? Okay, we can ask. We can figure out the people offline.
We talked about this earlier. Okay. We have people.
We do.
Who want to help. We just don't ask.
Okay, you're right. Most people have people.
Yeah.
They just don't ask.
Don't ask. So We can't say we don't have people.
So, yeah, do this, people. Put together a list of the people who are in your life. Write it down. As many names as you can get. People who will help you in, being organized. People help you in business. People will help you with just creatively brainstorm all kinds of things. People who are good at logistics, who have good connections. Like, just write down a list of all the things, who are good in finance and good in,
finance is a big one.
Yeah.
Everybody needs somebody.
Yes. Who are good in business. I have a friend that he was telling me he hasn't gotten paid in a really long time. He does a lot of contract music and he's incredible. Played for some of the biggest name artists on the planet. And he hasn't gotten paid in a super long time from some of these artists.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, like, get you a friend, even if he's not on, like, you don't have a staff, but get you a friend, someone who you can say, hey, this is the account, this is the project, this is the whatever that I worked on that I haven't gotten paid in X amount of time. Give them the list.
Yeah.
And then just have them call. Hey, I'm calling on behalf of this person, and I just want to let you know, or I just want to find out when is it that we're going to get paid, representing this person, however, in a very business manner, get on the phone and just start making calls. So find you that person.
Bill collector.
Yes.
You need a bill collector.
Yes. So make a list of as many of those people as you can, and we're going to do the same thing.
We have one.
But I'm saying we'll do the same thing. And sorry, I didn't finish my thought. We'll do the same thing and share it, whether it's like a mini episode or I don't know, maybe a follow up or something like that.
Okay.
All right, we'll share it. No. Maybe we won't put our name. We won't put people's names.
No, we won't put names. We'll put categories.
Yes, that's a good idea. And we'll say how many people we have in the categories.
Okay. All
right, cool. When you help people find their goals and their dreams, you kind of in return are like finding yours. Yeah. You're fulfilling yours. And that's, again, going back to the podcast thing. That's one of the reasons why we have our podcast, why we're starting our podcast. Yes. So, so that's one, helping people find their goals and achieve their dreams. What do you think of anything where we're going?
I don't know. I think it just brings me joy. I know that's selfish, but I get joy from helping people. Also, I think it's a way for me to be the person that I wish I had in certain situations. So, if somebody, I have a couple of mom friends who are new to motherhood, and they'll call and like with questions and, hey, how did you handle this? And like, I can be for them what I wish I had in the earlier days of motherhood, where I didn't have anybody that I knew of that I could call at any time and say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? Please. I want to keep this baby alive and I don't know how. And I wish I had those things. And so now it's kind of my mission to be who I wish I had in any area. If that's in business, what kind of business advice can I give based on some of our triumphs and our pitfalls? As a woman, what kind of information advice I can give to help in any kind of way, from being a wife, being a mom, all these different spaces. How can I help? Yeah. It brings me joy. And then, again, I'm able to leave a lasting legacy. Like, I've been given all of this information, all of this stuff to pour out to other people, so then they can use those things in their lives to make their lives better. And then others around them. It's just like a nice little ripple effect.
Yeah. I want to make sure that, I'm passing it on. Yeah. God has given us a lot. He's given us a lot of experience. He's given us, time, resources, gifting, and to be able to, release that is kind of it's a big gift to ourselves as well. Yeah. And yeah, I think that it helps impact the community around us. which is kind of one of our goals, is, impacting, people around us, showing them what's right in the world and showing them how to use what God has given them.
Yeah.
Whether, again, in different areas. And so, okay. I think we're good. I think we can wrap up for today. That is, again, last time we talked about time management. This time we talked about the time that we are spending helping other people.
Yeah.
Does it hurt us? Does it help us? And I'm not going to answer either way. I think it both, the way you do it, the way you manage your time with other people, can both hurt and help you. It just depends on how you use it.
Yeah. If you're bad at managing, it's absolutely going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Even if it's the best thing in the world that you could have done, it's still going to hurt you if you're not managing your time well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So again, in the comments, give us the categories. You don't have to put names, but just give us the categories of people that you need in your life to kind of help, start getting things organized, to help you get moving, to basically build your team of people who can, help you achieve your goals and your dreams and things like that. And also, based off of these 2 episodes, how are you spending your time? What are you doing to get better? How are you managing your time better these days? And so, anything you want to say as we get out of here?
No.
All right, cool. Well, we're gonna wrap up. That is the funniest. I love when people say, like, when people do a wrap up and they're like, "Okay, what you got to say?" Nothing. All right. So thank you for watching, everybody.
I have no words.
No, we want to engage with you in the comments. We want to, talk to you as much as we can, and share, watch the last video, watch the time management video, part 1.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.